Welcome everyone. Oh, Alicia's here. Let her in. Okay, so we are 31st of January, last day of January 2024. Hi, Lakeisha. Nice to
Hi.
see you. Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Very well. Nice to see you. Um, we have a new member, Pragati, who has just joined, but she's on off camera because she's doing something. So we'll have a chance, I'm sure, to share and connect a little bit. So yeah, we're on the last day of January, and there are a couple of things I wanted to share, and then we'll go through kind of into celebrations and sharing and coaching. But a couple of insights that I wanted to kind of start with as we go through this revenue challenge. So Pragati, you won't be aware, but we've had this kind of challenge of having your biggest revenue month yet in January. So what we've done is we've gone through a process. I'll send you the worksheet afterwards so you can have a look and catch up with kind of what everyone's been doing. And the purpose of it was to set yourself a really big money goal and then put your brain to work into thinking much bigger, basically, into thinking if I were to make this money goal, what would be the things that I would have to do? So instead of using the money goal and then, for example, say you want to make £10,000 a month, the normal traditional way is I would like to make £10,000 a month. Now, what the hell do I do to make it? Correct? That's normally how we do going after money goals. This, I like to reverse engineer it. Take yourself to the place where you've made 10,000 already, and then you think back in your brain, okay, what did I need to do to get to that point? What were the actions I actually took to create £10,000 in revenue? What would that actually look like? It takes you to a very different place, and it's kind of a different exercise. It doesn't give you the question of how do I do that? It gives you the question of what did I do? What would be required for me to do? And you just make it up. This is what we do. We make it up.
Meg,
Everyone,
I tried to do that. I tried to do that. I did a different meditation where they made us go through reverse engineer month by month. So we did it in December. So we went to next December. What were we doing next December? What were we doing next November? And I couldn't for the life of me see what I was doing. I was just imagining, okay, well, normally in December I'm doing this. So I really find it difficult to go deep and reverse engineer and say, okay, that's my higher self that has all the money and accolades. What is she doing? But I'll definitely have a go and see as much as I can do with that. Thank you. It's a lovely goal. I really like that.
awesome. And thank you so much for sharing that, because I completely understand why that happens. It's because we're using our current past experience and we're just not using our imagination enough. It's just that. It's nothing to do with you not being able to do it. It's just you're not in the practice of doing it. So it seems completely bonkers, basically. It seems strange to do because you're like, well, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to be doing next week. Honestly. So if someone's saying to me, what are you going to be doing next year? I'm like, who knows? That's my initial instinct. But when you think like this more strategically, you have to force yourself. It's like going to the gym. It's like lifting up a weight. At first, the weight's really heavy. You wouldn't go to the gym and lift a huge weight if you've never done it, because you wouldn't be able to lift it. So you have to build up this, it's almost like this mental process of just guessing stuff. Honestly, it's just making things up and being like, well, maybe it looks like doing webinars and talking to loads of people and doing loads of Facebook Lives. So I'm going to try that. But we're all making it up. So something that I wanted to share with you from a webinar I did last week, something that I heard which just tickled me and I wanted to share with you because it's so true and we forget this. Everyone's making it up as they go along. The people who are doing, the really successful people who are making millions and millions and millions, they've just been making it up for longer and doing it better. That's it. And then they've been very strategic. They've made stuff up and they've been strategic enough to see what's going well. And they've been clever enough to lose the crap that's not working. That's all. Because they're very, very focused on it. And they're better at making it up. They've just got more practice. So anyone that you respect and you're like, they're amazing, they must have a secret, what's their special sauce, what's the key to that person's success? There is none. It's literally they've been doing it longer, they've gotten better at being very honest with themselves, not being distracted, being very real with exactly where they are and exactly the problem that they need to solve. And they're not going down rabbit holes and getting distracted by people telling them different things. That's it. They're just making it up and they've been doing it longer. So that's, for me, it was like, oh, that makes so much sense. So let's collectively and learn from each other's making it up. I've been making this up since I started my business. I followed some people that I thought were sensible, that I really liked it, and I did some more learning. Then I made up loads of stuff and I tried loads of stuff. Some of it was really good, some of it was terrible. So the trick is just to be really honest with yourself and be like, what am I doing that's not serving me, that makes me feel crap, that drains my energy, that makes me feel bad, that makes me distracted? Like, what's the stuff that's just not working, but you just keep doing it for some reason? And we all do these things, by the way. I'm 100% guilty of this too. Just pursuing it with this like dogged determination. It's got to work because someone told me that it would. So I'm just going to keep doing it. But at some point you have to release that and be like, okay, it's been 3 months. Pivot. Like, a tactic's not working, a strategy's not working. Let's just let it go and move on. You have to have that ability to just change stuff. Give it time enough to work. But you've got to be really honest with yourself when stuff isn't working. Don't just do it for the ego of like, and I'm going to said I was going to finish this, so I'm going to finish it. Sometimes we do that to ourselves too. You've got to be willing to take on new information and be like, okay, maybe this isn't working. I gave it a really good test, gave it a really good shot. It's not fitting with me. It's not working. So I'm going to release this thing. I'm going to try something new. There's no shame in that at all. So I got a little off track, but it's a really good point. Can't remember the original question now. But yes, I think if you're out of the habit of future, it's kind of like just deep, it's kind of deep thinking, essentially. It's just thinking longer term. It's just strategic thinking, actually. It's not reacting to stuff in the moment. It's not looking at your week and going, I've got no client sales, I've got no client calls, or I've got no, like, I don't know, I've got no money in my bank, or whatever is coming up for you, and then reacting to that and doing a chain of things that are reactive instead of being more strategic and planning 3 to 6 months in advance, so that when you get 3 months down the line, you've been building that consistently. You've got the foundations, which is hard when it's just one person in your business. When you have more people and you have support, it's much easier because then you can give things to people to do and you're not in charge of everything at once, which can be very overwhelming because there's all kinds of things to take into consideration, not just the sales and marketing. There's all the other stuff too. So I hope that's helped a little bit. What I would love to do now is just some updates. Any wins that you want to share? I know that we're missing a few people, but this is all recorded, so they can also chat. But anyone want to share a win that's happened in the last week? Yeah, Natasha, go ahead.
Mine's not a financial win, but I had a really good meeting with the British consulate in Colombia, who's the member of our British embassy over here. And we started talking about my work with the Indigenous women that I've told you about before. And he's very interested in that. So he's going to talk to the head of arts in the British Council, who manages the British Columbian relationships, because they're specifically looking to promote like social causes and the relationships between the two countries. So he thinks that this work with the women and, you know, it's for a fair trade and all of that kind of fits in with their objectives. So I'm going to hopefully have a meeting with her, the head of arts, possibly get some funding, but I'm not going into it for funding. I'm going into it for a much bigger picture. If funding comes into it too, fantastic. But I'm not asking for money. And he also owns 5 coffee shops. So he's also suggested that maybe we could talk about having art in his coffee shops. So we're talking, and that was a really good win for me, because obviously he's a very I don't know what the word, but he's a very influential man. So it's a great contact to be in conversation with.
That's amazing. Yay! That is so and also, do you remember, when was it, 2 weeks ago, when you were talking about how do I pitch, or how do I, what's my offer to people? Because context, Natasha sells beautiful photography as art, so interiors, so her clients are hotels and high net worth people and people who have office space. So remembering back that conversation, this came about through some other things, didn't it? It's just that you were doing.
Yeah. So no, it's good. And also off the back of the event with the magazine launch that I did a couple of weeks ago, I also got back in contact with a 5-star hotel who I pitched to last July, and I didn't win the pitch. And they're interested again to speak to me as well. So I need to speak to them and find out, you know, have a little bit of a wash-up meeting, what happened before. But we're back in conversation. So I think my greatest learning is nothing's lost. Work goes somewhere. I mean, obviously there are some things that you just don't ever pick up again, but you never know. Keep those leads, keep those contacts, because maybe it wasn't the right fit at that moment, but you never know in the future. So just to keep relationships going. And so I'm learning a lot more now about nurturing my leads, about continuing on the relationship rather than just reaching out to people and then having a no, but then going back with another offer, or going back with something, you know, oh, I've done this, have a look at this, isn't this great? Because my art was given to the Minister of Culture, obviously that's kind of like made people's ears prick up. So it's always good to be able to keep those conversations open, because I'm developing. So it's nice for them to see, oh wow, she's developing actually.
Yeah, that's really cool. We have lots of famous people in our midst, so I fully expect to see your art in some sort of presidential suite at some point, either in Colombia or who knows where. So cool.
Well, I'm taking off your advice of looking for influencers as well. So I'm actually speaking to Colombia's biggest pop star at the moment and trying to give him a gift of my art. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just getting in contact with his PA at the moment. So fingers crossed.
Yay, that's a really cool idea. Thank you. Thanks so much for sharing that. Anyone else want to go? What's happened this week? Something I know. I don't want to call you out, Sorrel, but I know you've got something exciting that you did.
Yeah, okay. I was waiting to let other people go first. It doesn't sound half as exciting as what Natasha just talked about, but so I ran my workshop on Monday, and I had a total of about maybe 5 or 6 people, 2 of whom only stayed for like 3 seconds and left again, which is a bit weird. And I think it went really well. I was quite pleased with it. I got some interesting feedback from Mark, who said he thought it would benefit from more of a story being woven through it. So that was quite helpful. And he said you did go a bit wobbly on the price. Oh,
okay. That wasn't the thing I was thinking of, but thank you for sharing. Didn't you have a radio interview?
Oh, and oh my God, yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, I was on the radio yesterday. It was internet radio. So I got interviewed about 10 days ago by a lady called Ali Bagley, who is an author, and I think she's a book coach, a writing coach. And I said to her, I haven't written a book. And I might do sometime in the future, but she said, that's fine. Your story's interesting enough. So she interviewed me and we talked about my history and my coaching journey and bits in between. Yeah.
And it's available for download on where? If we
Well,
wanna
I should have to go and look for it again. It's on Mixcloud.
okay.
It's called Right Up Your Alley, as in her name, ALI. Actually, shall I put it in the chat?
Put it in
Because
the chat,
it's a
please.
nice
That would
little,
be really
it's
fun.
a nice little pun, and it is on LinkedIn. Right Up Your Alley.
Perfect. As in right, W-R-I-T. Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
I see what
right.
she's done there.
Yeah, very clever. So, and actually today I had a big win, which was an unexpected win. I decided I had enough. I wanted to try and turn out some emails really fast rather than spending hours on them. And I thought I can't be bothered with ChatGPT anymore. It just sounds so awful. I'll try Bard. Oh my God, Bard sounds just like me. I think because I use Gmail, it knows how I write.
Oh, I've never heard of this. So
It-
what is,
it-
can you share with everyone else what it is?
It's Bard. It's a Google thing, so it's like bard.google.com, I suppose.
And it's like a writing chat
Something like
GPT.
that. Yeah, and the writing sounds so natural and normal and doesn't sound like it's been generated by artificial intelligence. And I did tweak it a bit. I had to correct the American spelling. I did say to it, please use UK spelling, but you have to be reminded a few times.
That's the Americans
Did a
do,
great
right?
job. So I'd spent, you get ChatGPT to generate something, you think, I'm going to have to spend half an hour doing anything with it. I might as well have written it from scratch.
Yeah, that's fab. So did you get your emails done?
Yeah, I've got a whole pile of them waiting to go out, scheduled for the next 2 days, 3 days. I've got to do some more.
Oh, I'm so thank you so much for sharing, Sorrel. That's so, and I didn't want to minimize your first win either, but I just remember that you told me about the radio.
No, I forgot.
And I knew you'd forget. But yeah, you did your webinar. And so this is what also I want to just a little thing, and then we'll move on to small celebrations. It's like doing your webinar is a win, regardless of if no one comes or not. If one person or no people, you did it. You practice. It's again, it's like building the reps of doing the thing, of making your offer, speaking your offer,
Yeah.
practicing your pitch. Doesn't matter if there's nobody there. I promise you, I've done so many when there's nobody there, and I recorded them and I just sent it out to everybody. I was like, you might like this. They didn't say they wanted it.
You don't
Some
know.
of them, some of them were like, I definitely don't want this. But I was like, what's the harm? So, you know, it's all about visibility and just being really front-footish about it and being like, I've got something super valuable. Would you like it? So I'm so proud of you and I'm really happy for you. So thank you for sharing. Thank you. Lakeisha, do you have something this week? I know you've been doing lots of Instagram lives and content.
Yeah, so similar to Sora, I'd done a workshop yesterday as well.
Last night, wasn't it?
Yes. Did it feel like it went well? I'd done it with the expectation and goal of getting to sign-ups to my program. Didn't get any. So what you were saying earlier about, if it's not working, it's about thinking how you can make it work. So just been, yeah, that's been going through my mind recently. So just now thinking, okay, I've done it. I didn't get what I want, but how can I move forward to get what I want? So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment.
Congrats for doing it. How many people did you have coming?
I had 11 in attendance.
Nice. And how did you feel? So actually pause that. I'm going to come back and coach you if that's okay.
Yeah,
On
sure.
the pitch and stuff, just to try and pinpoint how you felt it went, because I think that might be helpful for everyone to hear. But well done for doing it. I saw your
Thank
posts.
you.
I really liked the post. It was really good and engaging.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks for sharing. Pragati, have I said that right? I said Pragati before. I think that's wrong.
Yeah, it's Pragati, but if you call me Pragati, that's fine too. When you were talking to Sorrel, I just remembered because I thought I haven't got anything to share. I was interviewed. I was on a panel talk, a conference, a summit, and my first online interview 3 last week. And with Parol, I'm going to be interviewed
when she's relaxed, when she's from the event this weekend. I met you, I met Mimi. I'm going to have a talk with Mimi, who also works with high profile individuals. I asked her for a booking link, and she said, darling, I don't have a booking link because I just don't work with anybody. She sent me a message at 7 o'clock in the morning, and she really kindly took time to talk to me, and I've got a call with her. I booked this what is this called, a membership with you. And the next day I went to a speaking event because I want to become a speaker, and I spoke to there was this famous lady, and I'm sorry, I don't know her personally. Her name's Peggy, and she's very she got married on TV or something, and she's the fashion person, and I need help with my image and everything. So I'm really grateful for that. And so yeah, I do have some wins, and anybody that does photography and relationship, I need to talk to you, probably Sorrel and Natasha. So yeah, I was thinking, no, I don't have anything to share. And that's the thing with me, I downplay everything, or sometimes my emotions and even hormones make me feel sorry for myself, like, no, that's going wrong, that's going wrong. But the minute you said, you shone some positive light, and you were all talking, I was like, yeah, I have done that. So thank you so much. You're helping me remind myself of the good things I'm doing. I said who I was. There's lots of activity going on, but I'm not getting sales from it. But I guess it's good energy and good things to be getting on with.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think that's such a good point, because we just forget these things. I think it happens to everyone, Pragati. Honestly, I will have a week and I'll be like, I didn't do anything. And I'm like, oh, wait, hang on. I did some things. Sometimes those things are, I managed to feed my children and they didn't die. Like, for sure. Sometimes those are the weeks that I have as a parent. Sometimes that's like my biggest win. I fed my children and they're all still alive. So I get you. I feel you on the hormonal, emotional thing as well. And you've done masses of stuff this week, like since I saw you on Saturday. That was only Saturday. What's going on? You've like stuffed so many things within a space of like 4 days. I'm really impressed.
That was all last week, actually, the three
Okay.
talking, and I can only talk about last week, actually. And then meeting you. This week is, I guess, this week's win is talking to you and having that voice message from Mimi.
Yeah. And taking positive action to change your business, the course of your business, which is massive. And showing up. Lots of people do stuff and then they don't show up. So yeah, thank you. Watching is in the follow-up. Oh yeah, I've just seen that. 100%. Showing up and following up. Like it. Joe, last but not least, our honorary male today.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I feel like I'm just surviving right now. So,
What's up?
but I'm
Has it been a
here.
hard week?
I guess that's my win. I'm here today. So
It is a win. I'm glad. Is it very cold where you are? Are you under 6 foot of snow?
no, it actually kind of warmed up. We're at right around 0, maybe 1 degree Celsius.
Oh, so still pretty cold. I love it. It's like, oh, it's quite warm. It's like 1 degree Celsius. I'm like, oh.
Well, warm for
Warm for
in
you,
February.
Yeah. So tell, what's been happening this week? Like, thinking back, because I know last week you didn't make it live. So just generally, like, what's been occurring?
I've been kind of in I don't know. I'm trying to look at maybe revamping my whole business. I don't know. I'm kind of in limbo right now at the moment. So not doing my website is down, and I'm trying to get that figured out, whether I'm going to go with the same program or go a little bit different.
Okay. And what's the program you have now? Is it like 6 months working together, or was it longer?
Well, yeah, it was ideally it was longer. It was 1 year, but
Yeah. And because I know that you've had some difficulty moving people past the like initial chat. Is it okay if I coach you, by the way? Because I think we've
yeah,
done the
sure. Yeah, yeah.
celebrations. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So from just from what I know of our chats and from you being here, it was the moving people from networking conversations into an offer, into literally having a sales interaction that was your kind of sticking point. Is that true?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So have you had any actual sales calls where they've been like, oh, Joe, tell me how you work, and you've had that interaction? Or is it mainly been the networking and then it doesn't go on?
Mainly the networking, and then one-on-one meetings with people, but
Yeah.
that's all been networking conversations. Yes.
Okay. So in your mind, what is your best guess? And literally just guess. What is the first thing that comes to mind that you think is the problem? Just one thing that's like sticking out to you.
Probably just like the whole conversations with the networking. My problem is not just making the next step with those people, because even while I could help them in their business, if I were to give them basically a pitch to a sales call,
Yeah.
then that would work. I think that would get more people moving in that direction, like how I could help them.
You're not pitching them a sales call. You like, do you just not, you don't invite them?
Right.
Okay. Do you know why? Like what comes into your mind? Like, can you give me an example of like, oh, I should have said this, but you didn't? What do you think stopped you?
I'm really not sure what stopped me.
Do you feel quite happy about the price?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Do you feel comfortable with the like, because there's always a few different things going on in our brains at once, not like 1,000.
A lot. Yeah.
So like it's never going to be just one thing.
Right.
Do you feel like what would be the sensation? Do you feel discomfort or awkwardness, or some kind of like there's some holding back from something? What's that feeling for you?
I think it's more I try to be what's expected of me, as far as like when I'm talking to somebody, rather than try to move them past what's expected, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What do you think is expected of you? Can you give me an example recently of like a chat you've had with someone?
So like on a networking, like a one-on-one from networking, it's just getting to know each other, and then seeing how we can help each other as far as networking. And maybe it's just I'm not asking. I think I'm doing better as far as that goes, about asking for introductions to prospects, but rather than seeing if they would like me to show them how I how I do business. So
I have a hunch there's a couple of things that might help you.
Okay.
And these could be way off, by the way, but like the first thing that just pops into my head is maybe if you just had the words of what to say, it would make you feel more confident to say it. Literally just like a couple of phrases that you can use on those one-to-one calls that you can have in your back pocket and then you can bring out. Because sometimes it's not that we don't have the confidence to say it, or we're scared of what they're going to say, or any of that stuff. It's literally you just don't know what to say. to take it to make the invitation. Does that sound like it might be a thing that would help?
Yeah, I think it would help. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to give you some that you can use, and you can write them down, and then you can just use them every time you have a call. Okay, so you might want to, this is recorded. Am I recording it? Yes. So you might want to watch the recording back after this as well. So the first thing is, I know this is going to sound very direct to you if you're not used to doing this before, but you can just soften it as much as you want to make it yours. So it doesn't have to be like word for word. But the one thing you can do is say, at like a certain point in the conversation, you'll have both talked about your thing, correct? And maybe you have just come to the end of talking about your services, and they've asked some questions and be like, oh, tell me about that. That sounds interesting. And you're thinking they might be a potential prospect from what I heard. Yeah. Have you had that situation when you're like, you're listening out for things and you're like, yeah, they sound like a good fit. Might be someone that I could make an offer to. So in that scenario, something you can say that's really easy is this something that's of interest to you? Are you looking for some help with this right now? Are you looking for some help with this right now? It's so easy. It's very uncomplicated. You don't have to beat around the bush. And when I first heard this from my coach, my initial thought was like, oh, I'm going to be sick. I can't say that. They were like, talk to someone for 15 minutes and then just literally ask outright, are you looking for help with this? Are you looking for a business coach right now? And I just couldn't. I couldn't get the words out of my mouth because I don't know what I felt, but it was a whole bunch of other things. But it's so you don't have to say, do you want to hire me? You don't have to say that. You could just say something like, is this something that sounds like it's, you know, something that might help you right now? Would you like to learn more about it? So there's lots of different ways of phrasing it that are so you can soften it down to how you speak as much as you want. And it's very unthreatening. It's not a pitch at all. It's an invitation. It's just a question. Like, are you looking for help with this right now? Very good. So that's one. The second one, and I guess this is all, context is really important in this, but if you are getting the sense that they are interested, they're a qualified client, you could help them. Like, these are the thoughts you have to have first before you say the thing. If you don't think you can help them, don't say it.
Right.
Because if you do say it, it's going to come out funny and they won't say yes. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's just my own personal preference. Some other sales coaches will be like, just do it to everyone. But if you genuinely are like, this is not a good fit, like, I don't think I can help this person, just don't offer to help them. Just doesn't make sense. So you have to be thinking in your mind, oh, I could definitely help this person. When you're thinking, I can definitely help this person, you can just say, would you like some help? Here's what to do. We can book another call. Or this is what I help my people with all the time. And that might be a different one for you, Joe, because you've not had lots of paying clients, but you have helped people with your services before, haven't you? Because you've got like years of experience in this field. You know exactly what you're doing.
Yep.
How do those feel to you?
Really good. Yeah.
Okay, play around with it, see how you go. I would give you a homework of using one of those this week.
Okay.
And I just want you to be really on to yourself of how you feel when you say it.
Yep.
And just see how you go.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. It's so nice to see you. I promise you, getting the first one out is the hardest.
Yeah.
It really is. If you're making a direct offer to someone, the first time you do it is by far going to be the worst thing. Because
Good.
it's just harder. But yeah, well done. Thank you so much. Okay, so Lakeisha's gone. So yeah, we can talk about her workshop, and I'm going to give her a little bit of coaching on that later. Does anyone else have updates on your revenue challenge? Where are you at compared to your goal? Let's have a little talk about it, because then we can coach on that, and that's going to be really helpful. And remember, again, I just want to kind of restate not the rules, but yeah, they are rules. Restate the rules. The rules are someone else's success doesn't mean anything about your success. So it's never a yardstick for measurement to make yourself feel bad. I know we do. I know it's normal, but just be conscious of it. Be conscious of comparing yourself against other people, because it's never about what anyone else is doing. It's your own race. It's your own lane. So just stay in your own lane. The other second rule is the results are never bad results. There's no such thing as good and bad results. I promise you, they're all results. We take actions, we have thoughts, we have feelings. It all creates a set of facts about us and our business. They're completely neutral, I promise you, until we load meaning onto them. So don't be loading meaning onto stuff that doesn't deserve having meaning loaded onto it. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything about your future success or your ability to create future success. Doesn't mean anything. We leave the past exactly where it was. We don't drag it into today. Because when you drag it into today, it changes what you do tomorrow, and that's going to mess up your results. It will. You will have the ones that you don't want, quote unquote, bad results. So just leave them at the door and use them for learning. Just use your results for learning. If it's a case of, okay, I set a revenue goal of 10,000 by February the 4th, and I've made £300, then what we're coaching on is the gap between 300 and 10,000. Yeah. The numbers completely immaterial. It could be £3 and £100. It could be 3,000 and £1 million. Like, it literally doesn't matter. There'll be different actions depending on the numbers, but it's all the same principle. So don't use your numbers as a shame burden. It's just unuseful. Use it as this is what's happened. This is what is today. These are the actions that have created this result. What would I do differently? How do I go about creating a different result that's higher and has more zeros on it? That's all we're doing. So I don't want to labor the point too much, but it is really important, because that's the point of the exercise. So anyone want to share? Anyone feeling brave enough to share your revenue goal, where you set and where you are, and then we can coach on it.
I'll go.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
So I was just looking at my notes from the beginning of the year, and I wrote down a doable goal of 785, a reasonable goal of 3,000, unreasonable 6,000, stretch 20,000. And the funny thing is that I've actually made £769, which is £16 short of my reasonable goal.
Yeah. That's so interesting. Yay.
Which is quite interesting, actually.
Yeah. So was it 785 was your doable?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. So you're very good at predicting, forecasting what's going to come in, which is great. And your unreasonable or stretch goal was 6K, wasn't it?
And stretch was 20,000, which
stretch was 20.
It actually is such a stretch, it feels I can't quite imagine it.
Yes. So let's bring it down.
So
Because if you can't quite imagine it, I think, and also we just carry on past the deadline.
Yeah.
It's like a marathon. Well, it's not like a marathon because you don't keep running after.
Sprint.
You don't keep running after you've gone through the barrier in a marathon, do you? Because that would be foolish. That's really tiring. No, but we're going to keep going past your deadline.
Yes.
You see, so you get to choose. Do you want to keep it at 20,000 and see how long it takes you to make 20? It's completely up to you. I would be.
I'd rather not do that because that might take me to the day I die. And I think I'd rather have the money sooner than that.
So, two things wrong with the things that you just said. It's not going to take you till the day you die. Of course not. It's £20,000 in revenue. It's not climbing Mount Everest with like 2 arms behind your back and a wooden leg.
I know.
It's so funny. So it's your goal. So feel something that you feel attached to and that it feels fun. I think that's the key thing. If it
I think
doesn't feel fun, let's not choose it.
I think 10,000 feels more like fun and less like slog.
Okay. So 10,000, and then you just get to see how long it's going to take.
Okay.
Yeah. So instead of saying, okay, by February the 4th, because this is what we do with goals to ourselves. No one else cares, by the way, honestly. But to ourselves, we set the deadline, then we're like, oh, well, I missed the deadline. It's all shit. So I'm going to throw it all out the window. And I'm rubbish. And see, I told you so. You can't do this. You should go back and get a normal job. Your mother was right. Like all the internal nonsense that we tell ourselves. So don't do that. Just be like, great. You've made £769. You're so close to the amount that you said you would make in the space of 3 weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Natasha's clapping.
Because it's really good, Sora. Well done.
Thank you.
It's really good. And again, the monetary, literally the digits is immaterial. And I know it's not because we have businesses. So don't, obviously, the context is important. But if this was £7,850, would you be feeling differently?
Probably would be actually, yes. Wildly differently, yes.
Would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But why? It's so interesting, isn't it? What would it mean about you that's different than making 785? Like, what would you tell yourself if you'd made 7,850 versus what you're telling yourself now? That's the thing.
Oh, I'm just thinking about the fact that I would have paid those bloody lawyers' bills. Or rather, recouped the cost of the lawyers' bills. So some of these numbers have quite a significance because the lawyers' bills are about 6,500.
Okay.
So it would be really
telling
lovely
yourself
to
something
say,
different.
I've got that money back now.
Okay. So you'd be feeling something different. You'd be feeling what, do you think?
Overjoyed, rejoicing.
Yeah.
But I am really pleased that I signed some clients and I've made some money and there's more money coming in next month and the month after and the month after that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm fascinated by this mindset of like, because if we put a 0 on the end of stuff, we feel differently, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
And it's so weird because money is just money. It's completely neutral. It has no meaning other than the meaning we place on it. Doesn't mean it other than the fact we can pay a lawyer's bill, of course, like practically. That's a thing. But the fact you can make £769 in 3 weeks, that wasn't there before. You created that money. You literally created that money. You directed that money to you through value that you gave clients.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I would just sit with that. Just be like, if I just plonked a 0 on the end, would I be telling myself something different about myself? And just see what happens. Just see what comes up in your brain.
It doesn't feel like I'm telling myself something different about myself. It feels like the story is about my future.
Okay.
And the fact that I have burned through so much of my savings, which I had hoped to be giving some of which to my daughters for property. And I want to be able to replenish my savings so that put that money back in again. So that I don't have to take out of my pension to help them with property. You know, so it is about my future.
But I'm just so curious because it's nothing to do with your clients or your business. So I would just,
Well, yeah, that is interesting, because clearly if I was making that much money, I'd be either having more clients, or they'd be paying me more per program, and that would be good too.
yeah. So I think my homework for you is, this is going to sound really rude, but you know me and I love you. Just stop thinking about yourself.
Okay, good.
It's because your clients don't care.
No, of course
They
they
care
don't.
about themselves. So when we have this self-focus, which we all do because we're humans and we all have bills to pay and mouths to feed and stuff to do and clothes to put on our bodies and heating to pay, it's a thing. But when you're self-focused for that, it stops you from providing value in a way that makes people pay you more money. It's just a thing. You have to be focused on the value you deliver, not the value that is coming to you. It's a reframe. It's literally the same thing, but your brain needs to be on the value you give, not the value you're getting. So anytime you think that way, and it's really easy to suss out, because it's always like, I need this, I need that, I need to pay this, here's my gas bill, got to buy kids' shoes, got to help the girls with property. Like, it's always I focused, really. I know it's for your children, but it is about what you're going to do with the money.
Yeah.
So it's just I am calling you out, but in a very loving manner. Because we do it. We do this all day long. Just notice next time you do it, because it's gonna be the thing that's gonna hold you back from welcoming in more money from clients, because it's not client focused. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So the question isn't how do I make 7,850 a month, or how do I make 20,000? It's like, how much value do I need to create in the world for my clients so that £20,000 is the thing that comes to me? So that's a different question. It's not making £20,000, it's creating at least £20,000 worth of value to your customers, so that the completely inevitable result is money back. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you have to make sure that the money can come back by making offers for people to buy the value. If you see what I mean.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
So create the value and then go tell people about the value so that they can make the choice to get the value and pay money. It's like a circle.
And I was just thinking £20,000 is half of what my friend spent on her divorce.
Wow.
So yeah, every time I create that value for my clients, I save them not just the financial, but the emotional cost of divorce, if that's the way they're going.
Sure. Which is completely priceless. Priceless. You couldn't put a price on that.
No.
Yeah, that's great. Well done. And just see how long it takes. It might take 45 days. It might take 90 days. It might take 100 days. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how long it takes. But then the next time around, you'll know, and you'll know how to shorten it because you'll have been through the process already. Okay, thank you. Tash, did you want to share?
So I'm in actually quite a similar position to Sorrel. So I made £1,000. I haven't gone up from a couple of weeks ago. It's the same client, so I'm just stuck with that client. What's been really interesting for my shift is when you said that in December about the £20,000, it really opened my mind to something bigger, and it made me realise that it is really possible. And why shouldn't it be possible? It is totally possible, especially. So I've kind of done a lot of work on on my mindset and my brand. So I've gone back to what my brand really is. So not necessarily who I'm targeting. So I am targeting hotels, I am targeting interior designers, and I'm targeting homeowners. I'm actually targeting everybody that has a wall in their house or their office or their teepee or whatever they live in or whatever they work in. Anyone with a wall actually is my target, but it's somebody who wants to make
anyone with a wall. This is such a good target audience.
in a shed, whatever. No, but so I'm just being silly. But in a real way, my art is designed, created to make your space, whether it's work or home, a happy, healthy space, and to help create your sanctuary. So I've really gone back to what is the essence of my brand. And with that, going backwards to really who I am, what I offer as a brand, because I was focusing on who I was targeting and I couldn't match it up because I was like, but I'm targeting them and I'm targeting them and the message is different. Actually, no, the message is the same. I create a happy, healthy space through art, whether it's your work, home, hotel, or as I said, your teepee. So that's helped me a lot kind of with my thinking about my offer and adding value. So it's made me realize 20,000 is possible. I think I was also thinking I'm going to just wait until I get to 20,000 and keep that. I feel a little bit the same as Sorrel, that maybe 20,000 for me is quite a jump. Maybe it is a bit of a slog. So maybe 10,000. 10,000 is very comfortable for me. 20,000 is a stretch. So I don't know which one I should go to, 20 or 10. 20? 20, okay, cool.
You'll have to expand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And just, I'm also thinking about who I'm speaking to. So for example, the guy from the British consulate who has 5 cafes is a good possibility, maybe more than somebody who just wants to buy one print. But I don't want to lose the person who's just going to buy one print either, because they're all really valuable for me, because I want to give people art. So you've taught me a lot, I think, about how we're coming from our value, how we're coming from our offer, and it just seems less scary. It seems more possible because, I mean, yesterday I went to the printers and we've just got the framers, and I got all my stuff printed for the luxury home, the £1,000 client, and the prints are amazing. Like, even I was like, wow, they are stunning. So now I'm really feeling my product, like it really is worth the 20,000. I can get really good clients. And as you said, like the tweaks, like last year I was selling cheaper prints, they weren't selling. So why sell something low quality that's not even selling anyway, because it's not about the price. Sell something high quality that's really someone's going to have for their whole life, probably a piece of art. So I'm kind of confidently going forward. I still have blockages. Obviously, I've got lots of conversations in the air. I feel a bit like Joe as well, in the way that I can't always convert. So there are some sticking points, but I'm working on them all and I'm aware of them, I think. So, which I wasn't before, in December or September. When did we join the living room? In November?
It was like
October. I wasn't. So I've come in these kind of 3 months, I've developed a lot in my mindset and the possibility. So I feel like it's definitely possible, and I'm very excited by it. That's the thing. When you opened up that blockage, when you said that in December, it just opened up a whole new world of possibilities for me, and of like, why not? I love
it. Thank you so much for sharing. I feel like all like body chills when you said that about the possibility, because that's all you have to entertain.
Yeah. And
entertaining your brain.
A real possibility. But I feel very similar to Sorrel in many ways, as it's a massive jump. I also have a lot of things to pay for, so I definitely understand where she's coming from in that kind of way. But yeah, just trying not to focus on that, and as you say, trying to focus on the value. That that takes effort to do, that takes work, but I'm managing it. So long may it live.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So something that just literally jumped out. Oh, we've got like 2 minutes. Yeah, so something that I just wanted to touch on very quickly is The reason it feels like a bit of a slog is all mental, by the way. So whenever we say that to ourselves, this feels doable or comfortable, and this feels like a bit of a slog, it's not because it's more work. I promise you. It's not because it's harder. It's the same work, right? It's the same effort. It's the same amount of energy. It's just a different number. But the reason our brain wants to tell us it's harder is because it's not yet made that feel comfortable in our bodies and our brains yet. Because it's not happened before. It's the only reason. So honestly, between 10 and 20, there's no difference. If you're going to do 10, you may as well choose 20. The difference between 0 and 5,000 or 0 and 2,000 is mentally wider than between 10 and 20. I mean, like practically wider, if you see what I mean. Between 0 to 5, it's practically, i.e. the actions, you're going to have a steeper learning curve with actions and actual tactics and doing stuff. It's going to be much of a steeper curve between 0 and 2 and 0 and 5 than between 10, like honestly, 10 to 50 to 70, it's all the same. So mentally, it's what's happening in your brain between 10 and 20. Like, just get comfortable with 20. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You may as well feel uncomfortable and make more money than feel uncomfortable and make less. So that would be the thing that I would want to share. But that's incredible. I'm so happy. This thought of, honestly, it's really possible. That's the thought. That's the thought that's going to drive all of your actions. And this is for everybody. This is for me. This is for every entrepreneur. That thought, oh, I can do that. This is possible. I can help them. It's doable. They're really simple thoughts. They're not like complicated, but they're going to be the thoughts that drive consistent action that make you money. Because when you think it's not doable, what do? We don't do it. Because it seems hard. So when like the thought is just like, this is possible, I can do this, I can totally help them, that will fuel so much good action taking that it will feel less scary to do, and you'll just do the things. So that's really amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sorry, Joe, Pragati, we didn't get a chance to coach on this. Joe, I have some time? Do you have to jump off? Because I have an extra 5 minutes if you want to share where you're at with this. I know you've had a couple of weeks kind of potentially changing offers, changing your approach. So do you want to update quickly?
I don't really have much to update, really.
Are you still ushering in the value from the universe, like Tim said last week? It's all
Trying
coming.
trying to soak it in, yes.
So this is another way of saying you've not hit your target, you've not come off of that zero,
Right.
which is all fine. The zero is never a problem. Let's pretend the zero is $1,000. Yeah.
Right.
It's the same. So how would you feel? Like I said to Sora, how would you feel if it was you were on 1,000 and you wanted to make 5,000? Would you feel differently than now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just trick your brain. Your brain can be a real dick sometimes. Excuse my French. All of our brains can be real, just not kind to us.
Right.
So try those phrases on your next networking things. Have you got some networking things in the diary that you want to go to this week?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then let's have a chat about your offer as well, because you said you might want to change it around, and I think that might be a good strategy for now. So I'll send you a message because I think that might be a good thing, because selling a year up front might just be taking your brain into overdrive. So maybe just make it really easy for yourself by offering something that's shorter and, like, for you, mentally easier to sell.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Pragati, did you want to share anything before we jump off?
I want to, the outrageous goal is like 100K in a month, and I wanted to look at other people that are earning that and what are they offering, and see if I could give value, because what you said was really hit home. It's like, yeah, the value. And so that's what I'm thinking of doing. How am I going to get those clients? How can I make something that is simple luxury? So a handbag is a handbag, but people are selling them for £1,000. How can I give that value? So these are I want to go for the outrageous goal, like you said, and then the reasonable goal will find itself.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important, because what they're saying is, because of inflation, what was reasonable now will be or unreasonable now will become a necessity. So I really want to get on that, earning, Ryan Pinnock, he said £10,000 won't be enough. You need at least £30,000. And traditionally, I've never been about earning money or being in the limelight. So I have to really come out of myself. I want to see who's earning that much, what they're offering, how I can offer it, how I can offer a luxury service. But can I email you to find out about what the actual parameters of this challenge is?
Yeah, of course. I'll send you something after with the there's a worksheet, so you can go through the worksheet, and then I can give you some more context, and I'll send you the recording from when we started as well, which explains it some more. But I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. I've really enjoyed it. I had lots of laughs and aha moments.
Thank you so much. Well, I'll see you all next week. Recording is going to be available later today or tomorrow. So, well, happy January. It's gone now. Goodbye, January. I'm delighted. Bring on February. Have a really good week. I'll see you next week. Bye. Take care. Bye.